Hey, this is Ken Casey from the Dropkick Murphys, and I love the Grandstanders! Take it away, kid!
Welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, the Professor, Russ Stevens, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's the barber to the stars, Hollywood Pete McGilvery. Well, we know we have an incoming storm ready to hit at any moment, so Joe, you're already ready.
I have to sleep at the post office. They won't let me leave.
Joe literally finished his route. He will be going back out, and because, right? Postman never rests and doesn't matter.
Rain, sleet, snow.
Yeah.
Nor gloom
Hail.
of night shall stay this courier from his
There you
appointed
go.
rounds.
And if it starts snowing in the studio, he's set and we're screwed. All right, first of all, I want to thank our wonderful sponsor, Dante's Pizzeria, 415 Harvard Street. He brought the bolognese,
Oh,
David,
delicious.
with ziti, and the salad. So can't wait for that after the show. All right, boys, we start with the Patriots because I don't know.
We can't get rid of them.
No, it's March. We wanted to kill him, right? I mean, like,
That's right. Well, it's still snowing out, so it's still Patriot season. as
It's
far as we're
always
concerned,
Patriot
right?
season in New
I
England.
couldn't bring up. I had to stop with the Malcolm Butler because you guys were ready to kill me and just
Yeah.
walk off.
But
the
you
set,
will never
right?
stop with the Jimmy G.
No, I will not. No. Jimmy G has to be mentioned. It's already been mentioned.
Yes, it has.
Well, I owe you an apology.
Oh my
oh,
God!
oh,
Hey,
well,
take
yeah.
this
Wow,
down.
you
Somebody,
see,
no.
somebody get a tape of this.
Because I went and thought about it, and I underestimated Jimmy G, and I think he's got 2 Super Bowl rings.
Yes, he does.
He does.
So yeah, he's got 2 Super Bowl rings. So he's obviously a much better quarterback than I thought he
At
was.
this stage of Jimmy G's
A
career,
Super Bowl
he has more
record
Super Bowl rings
holding
than Brady
clipboards.
did at his stage of
Yeah,
his career.
he has 2 Super Bowl rings. He's the highest paid player. And I can only imagine the Foxy ladies.
He's no
got.
longer the
The
highest.
most handsome.
That makes him better than Dan Marino right now.
What's that?
Makes him better than Dan
And
Marino.
Charles
God.
Barkley.
Help us.
Tied with Peyton.
Yeah, and apparently he got paid more in the playoffs than Tom Brady. Yeah, if some crazy, he got more playoff money for the Patriots going to the Super Bowl than Tom Brady.
He's making more money than Tom now, right?
Right, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because the one who makes the most money is the best, right, Russ?
It's always been that way.
But Jimmy doesn't live in Brookline. So.
No, he doesn't.
So thank
Not
you for
yet.
joining us on the Jimmy G show.
You guys did it. All right, so boys, the Patriots picked up very interesting Cordell Patterson. They picked him up for basically nothing, just some movements in the draft picks from the Raiders. Here's a guy that was a #1 pick. He's a burner.
And we need a return man. Amendola's gone. You can't sacrifice Edelman anymore. I don't trust that kid from Alabama that was out all last year, the cornerback.
Right.
So you have, and Lewis just signed.
Right.
Well, this is his job. That's what he does,
Yeah.
right?
And
He's
we
sort
need
of a-
we need return men.
He's sort of like a Percy Harvin,
Desmond Howard kind of guy.
jackknife kind of player, returns kicks, gadget plays.
Yeah,
Doesn't
lots
run,
of gadget plays. You can do lots of
Yeah,
reverses
doesn't
and
run
stuff
great
with him.
routes. You'd asked earlier, Pete. He's got speed. You know, he's a straight line.
Yeah.
Send him down the field.
Yeah, he's like Devin Hester. He can return like
Yeah.
crazy, but the road.
And he plays.
Devin
and he
Hester,
plays
yeah.
special teams. He's on the defensive side of the ball in special teams. He's a gunner. So
But finally, a fun acquisition that we can kind of talk about.
And it
you know,
costs you nothing, like you say.
Yeah, and fun to watch, hopefully. All right, so this just makes the Philip Dorsett for Jacoby Brissett deal even worse now that we're acquiring for more wide receivers. And Jacoby Brissett is, all right, he's borderline a starting quarterback in the NFL. Would you give me that?
Yeah.
And so
Well-
we gave away 2 starting quarterbacks in the NFL for nothing.
He gave up a borderline starting quarterback for a borderline starting receiver.
Yeah, right. But now that you've said that has no use for the team, right? They've already moved on without Philip Dorsett. If you're picking up,
no.
He was
He
never
may make the
a
team.
right, I don't think, Dorsett, but he's had a play.
He may make the team.
Sometimes it takes these guys a second year to get it.
but wouldn't you rather have
No,
Brissett
what
than,
you're saying is
Brian
that
Hoyer?
you would rather have Brissett than Hoyer. You'd rather have Brissett than Dorsett right now.
Right.
But, like, why don't we see what happens if Dorsett makes the team? You know, he could end up replacing Amendola.
Oh, I don't see that.
He could.
Yeah,
You don't know.
yeah,
I
we
mean,
gotta-
No, but
you got to see what happens.
but you
Edelman
can't-
replaces Amendola. I mean,
You can't do that because when they traded Brissett, it was because they had a need, though.
yeah,
They
but
needed to get the guy.
Philip Dorsett. I mean, why did they have to give up the quarterback? Why did they felt like their quarterbacks
Right, but
didn't have great
at the
value?
time, here's the thing, though. At the time, we were not raising Cain about how
was
could we
the
have
third
traded.
quarterback.
He was the third quarterback. We still had Jimmy G
He was
at the
expendable.
time. Right, and we needed Edelman was out for the year. Dorsett's a former first-round pick. It didn't seem like such an awful trade. At
I
the
know,
time.
but it does now.
Right,
Well, but at the time, they thought they were keeping Jimmy G.
Right.
When they got rid of him. And a year, with having him, Dorsett really added no value to the team.
Dorset was
Of course
not
he is.
going to play for the Patriots.
Brissett was.
Brissett-
I beg your pardon,
he wasn't
Brissett.
going to play, but he would have had another year development, and maybe he would have been.
not
But
a
also
starting.
we would have
Look,
greater
bottom line.
value.
More
Here's the
value.
bottom line: Brissett's not a starting. He could
No,
be a
no.
32nd starter in the NFL. He's not a guy you want starting football teams for your team.
Well, of course,
right?
that's a nasty
I know, but it
team.
just
Just
you know,
seriously, I mean, if Jacoby Brissett's starting 12 games for you next year, how many of those games are you winning?
look, probably 6 of them.
Okay, so then he has no interest to me. I'm not interested in Jacoby Brissett
Okay,
as a
all right,
quarterback.
okay, fine, that's
Just
right.
like to
Just
stir it
because
up
just
for no
defend,
reason.
let's just defend Bill Belichick and let him just make all these bad moves, and we won't reflect at all
But it
on
wasn't
whether
a
they
bad
were
move.
good or
The
bad.
other- the
No,
other-
we'll
no, you
just
gotta-
rubber stamp
no,
everything.
you
Go
gotta
get your
put-
rubber stamp. Rubber stamp.
No,
Never
but
know.
you got a player that was going to get some reps for a player that wasn't going to get any reps ever.
Quarterbacks don't grow on trees. Look at everybody making
Oh,
all
here
these
we
moves.
go.
Just the hope that they'll get a diamond in the rough in these quarterbacks. When you had a guy that, at the very least, probably could have got you a second-round pick right now here in the offseason.
But at least they got something for Brissett. Look at that tight end they picked up.
Well, Dwayne Allen.
But what did they give up? They
Yeah,
gave
that
up
was
two
a worse.
picks.
That was a worse.
I know, but
thing
this
than
all
this.
these bad trades. If this was the Red Sox, we'd be ripping on them
Oh,
for
yeah,
10
the Colts
years.
shook-
ripping
shook
on-
him
Do you think
twice.
Hoyer would have been more effective for the Colts than Brissett?
I think Hoyer's garbage. I don't think Hoyer's going to be
Do you
effective.
think
No, Hoyer can't play anymore. No.
I think Brissett would have been a better option.
Look,
than Hoyer.
the reason why we're even having this conversation is the Jimmy G trade.
Right, exactly.
Like we don't. If Jimmy G were still here, Brissett never would be coming up in a conversation at this point in time.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a chronic disease.
So
I
this
told
is
you,
really-
it's a 10-year
this is
chronic
really
disease. It's
about
like,
Jimmy-
oh, my
this is
goodness,
really about Jimmy G.
Every day.
It's really
every day
about
it's a
Jimmy G.
gallbladder. Yeah,
Yeah,
every
it's
day.
really
Yeah, right.
about Jimmy G.
Exactly. And there's nothing we can do about your gallbladder.
You gotta pass the Jimmy G stone every day?
Exactly, for the next 10 years.
Scott,
never-
it's become a distraction.
For you, maybe. All right, picked up Claiborne, Shelton, Tobin, and Hill. Joe, all roster fillers, right?
Well, nothing that makes you excited. Nothing hits the meter, but it's all right.
Yeah, but it doesn't move the dial at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. None of these guys are really.
This is what they do every year, though.
Household names.
This is the Patriots going about building their middle class
is
and their
right
team.
about
And
this.
one of the reasons why they've sustained themselves over 20 years is that they have a really good middle class. And the years that they've got last year, what killed us last year was ultimately lack of depth. We didn't have enough middle class linebackers.
Right. We didn't have any good linebackers.
There wasn't
We
enough
didn't have-
depth,
Not
right?
to mention they let go McClellan.
Right. So this is him. Like Claiborne and Shelton are two good rotational players. But to Joe's point, to your point, they're not going to get you excited. I'm not excited to watch Adam Claiborne play football for the Patriots. But in a playoff game, you need him.
They're lunch pail guys.
Yeah.
But Stephon Gilmore proved to us that he was the best player on defense last year.
by
late in the
season's
year.
end.
Yeah, by-
All right,
Late
so
in the year.
proving that getting a top player actually pays off.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's when
In the right
they've had a
position.
shrinkage
Yeah.
of their blue chip talent of Broncos. Geez, they've lost a lot. They've lost a lot of their higher end
Yeah.
players.
So Joe's happy. Rex Burkhead, because of course
I like Rex Burkhead. He's a high
I know
football player.
Maybe we got to get a Burkhead
That's why he was
jersey.
always hurt.
I don't know. He feels like the Brock Holt of the Patriots to me. Rex Burkhead does.
No,
he's a middle
seriously,
tier guy, but he's
nobody's
fun.
that bad.
He's always
No.
hurt.
He's always
Right?
hurt.
He's
yeah,
sort of
exactly.
a utility player.
Yeah, he can't play left field.
He can't play left field either.
No, Rex Burkhead he reaped the rewards of Dion Lewis moving
Rex
on.
Burkhead did the right thing by coming back.
He was in the right
For
place at
Rex
the right time
Burkhead.
when everyone was giving the Patriots heat about losing people.
Yeah.
They had to sign him.
Well, and one thing about when you lose Lewis, and Burkhead allows you to put him on the field, and you still don't know whether it's going to be a run or pass,
Yeah.
right? The problem when you had Blunt and White, when White was in there, you knew it was going to pass. When Blunt was in there, you knew it was going to be a run. At least with Burkhead, you've got the option of Lewis. You had the option of doing.
And the
both.
problem with
You know
Gillis,
it's a run.
Right.
and the problem with Gillisy is you
know
know
it's
it's
a
going to
run.
be a run.
That's right.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
Which is kind of ridiculous. Why can't this man, a football player, go out and run a 3-yard turn around and catch a ball?
Yeah, it's a great question. The guys who can't catch, I'm like, well, why can't he catch? Like he's got 2 arms and 2 hands.
Bolden's a
He's in
special
the
teams
NFL.
player and
Right.
everything.
Yeah.
He just can't catch a ball.
Yeah, it's weird.
Practice it.
Yeah,
You know what
exactly.
I mean? It's
Yeah,
something
I
I'm
don't
sure you can pick
understand.
up.
Better gloves.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't understand.
But it's a
Guys who
3-yard
can't catch, I
pass.
don't
It's almost a
understand.
handoff.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady, he's pretty good. He'll throw it right
Yeah.
exactly where you want it.
I think the
Yeah.
problem is the percentage of him dropping it off his hands
Yeah.
and turning into 7.
I know that's a weird thing.
It's a
like
weird,
Steve
sort of like
Blass
guys who
disease.
can't play first base. Well, why can't he play first base? Can he
right.
catch a baseball?
Yeah, right, exactly. Oh, we'll get to first base soon. All right, I'm going to finish the loop with the Patriots and tell you, I love Tom Brady. Everyone knows Brookline's own Tom
I
Brady.
don't know.
Nobody loves him
No,
more.
you're on
I
Team
I
Jimmy
don't think
G.
that's accurate.
But he
No.
is the most boring human being
okay.
God ever
Here
put
we
on
go.
this planet. This week, because Tom has to be in the news, if it's not Botox, it's something else. He talks about how his hatred for strawberries. Oh, for God's sake. Seriously, is this a reel that just goes over and over? I mean, is he going to be...
He doesn't like tomatoes either.
Is Tom versus Time going to torture prisoners of war at some point? I mean, I actually watched that last one, and you said,
I turned it off halfway through.
oh my...
I didn't see that. I didn't know there was a last one.
Yeah, the wrap
The
up.
6.
after
Yeah,
the
no, I
Super Bowl.
thought it was over.
It's so boring. It was...
Yeah.
He's a boring person. He doesn't say anything interesting. Would you give me that?
I thought Tom versus
Well, I
Time
thought
was
he
pretty
had a lot
good.
of interesting things to say. It's just the whole format was.
He's been coached. He's very disciplined
Yeah,
about what he
it's
says and
great.
what he
That was
doesn't
a
say.
strategic
Right. But
publicity.
the bigger
And the F-bombs are scripted.
sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
Look, as a
Everything
person
is,
who's
right.
very comfortable with F-bombs,
I was-
that's
right.
not natural when he says them.
But the one we do need a little bit of an off season for Brady, right? Like Manning, he's reached Peyton Manning proportions where Peyton Manning was like a 12-month. There was a 12-month Peyton Manning season. We seem to have a 12-month Tom Brady season.
Yeah,
now.
but you got to give Manning's a great actor. I mean, the SNL Manning's a
Oh,
great.
he
The
was
commercials
incredible.
are
Now Brady,
priceless.
remember, made a very good appearance. He
Chicken
did a
parm,
good
it
job.
tastes so
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
But that SNL commercial
Oh,
where not the SNL
The
skit.
skit when he's teaching kids on the.
Well, no, but
throwing
also
balls
when he's
at him.
watching a Super Bowl that the Patriots,
Yeah.
the Atlanta Super Bowl is fantastic. Yeah, he's gonna have his own sitcom. Peyton Manning. All right, so we go to the Boston Celtics and the professor. We were texting back and forth last night. That was an exciting game. Hope you all saw that against the OKC Thunder. Best win of the season? What do you say?
It was definitely my favorite win because I ended up watching it from beginning to end. It looked bleak, as Pete said earlier. It looked bleak a few times. You had these scrappy underdog backups in, and they pull out a game that they had no business winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? In an
Larkin
amazing
and those
fact.
guys.
Yeah.
Abdelnader and that was
You know, they had no business.
borderline
O-
NBA player.
Oklahoma City was healthy and needed that game.
Yeah.
And we're up by 6 points with 20-something seconds to go.
And
we
you
won
have
the
their
game.
best players, Westbrook and Anthony Choke.
Yeah.
Line.
Oh, it's perfect.
How often is that going to happen?
Hardly
it's
ever.
not.
Carmelo didn't miss a shot until the
Hardly
free throw.
ever.
Yeah, and he was Carmelo. You could see in the fourth quarter, just give him the ball, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
He was
He
going to.
didn't miss a shot in the whole fourth quarter until that free throw.
But now that game, okay, we have to admit it. We kind of ripped it, and we were kind of uncomfortable with the whole Marcus Morris for Avery Bradley deal.
Not anymore.
We only said that it may work out for us by the mere fact that Avery Bradley's always injured. Well, of course, Avery Bradley
He is
is injured,
injured.
and Morris has turned out to be a a very good
You
complementary.
need one of those veteran scorers who has brass you know whats, who will take a shot with 2 seconds on the clock with confidence, right?
Yeah.
On your team, and that's what that guy did last night.
Half the league would have passed
Isn't that what
ball
Marcus
back.
Smart is?
And,
Yeah,
and
right,
Smart will do it
exactly,
too,
yeah.
and he's the same kind of mental makeup
conscience at
as
all. Yeah.
both
I mean, Marcus
Marcuses.
shouldn't be taking the shot. I mean,
should.
there's too
But
many
he has
gifted players on the
complete
floor.
confidence in
But
something.
Morris has got that a little bit like an assassin in him. I give him a lot of credit.
And for just a big guy, the way he's built, he's very comfortable. In that
I would not
three-point
mess. I would not mess with that man in an alley.
lane. No, he nailed his brother. They were gonna go and look for whether it's a flagrant foul. It's his twin brother.
Yeah.
He didn't even pick him up.
Yeah.
And they literally look identical.
They do.
I mean, that's kind of bizarre.
Yeah.
All right, so boys, we love Kyrie Irving, but just to hear the thought that we might have to do without Kyrie Irving the rest of the season is so depressing. Of course, needless to say, we have no shot to go
Zero.
even to the Eastern Conference Finals without him, right?
Even maybe not get
Oh,
through
I
a
don't.
series.
I agree with Joe. I think we'd have a hard time winning a series
Milwaukee?
without Kyrie. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna end up playing either Milwaukee or Miami. The Celtics would end up playing Milwaukee,
Yeah.
Miami, they're very close.
Yeah.
In the first round. Yeah, you have to. You have to when you have Giannis and stuff. You have to
Yeah.
have a scorer in there.
You have to have something to respond to them because they can score every
Yeah.
time down.
You know, Smart's going to be out in the first playoff series. If Kyrie's out too, I don't know how you and Tice is out. I don't know how you win. You go in as a 50-50 at best.
And we've even forgotten about Gordon Hayward being out too.
What a buzzard's luck year on the injury front they've had, huh?
But still, we got awful lucky with Jason Tatum. Not only has he stepped up his game recently, but damn, if he's not the leader of that team currently with the regular guys out at 20 years old, right? The plus minus yesterday was 22 plus when he was on the court, 22 minus when he was off.
He's a little different. He was in some kind of a dip. Would you agree? to
Oh
that?
yeah, for about a month.
He looked
and a half.
tired or
was.
uninterested or something.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was the rigors of the season. He looked like he was a
He's
jockey as
still
far
a
as weight
teenager.
wise.
Plus, he had a baby.
Yeah,
Like in the middle of the year, you're 19 years old. Your girlfriend has a baby.
yeah.
So you're exhausted, physically exhausted. Now you're dealing with,
And he has
Plus,
multiple
now
girlfriends.
now he's working with Guerrero.
Is he really?
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
But the multiple girlfriends too can catch you a lot.
Well,
I have Mormon friends and they're awful tired. I'll tell you.
ooh.
Friends.
Yeah,
Friends.
one.
You know that. Come on. All right, all right. We gave a lot of cred to Don Sweeney, Harvard's own Don Sweeney, for the depth pickups, the extra depth pickups. They're not stopping and like, we'll pick up Giannis, we'll pick up this guy, just in case. Did Danny screw up by only picking up Monroe and not getting those depth pickups just in case?
Well, think about what the question. The question would be, if Kyrie doesn't come back, he did the right thing, right? Like if there's no Kyrie and we had given a first-round pick for Tyreek Evans, we'd be pretty bummed out right
of the
now
pick.
for
Yeah,
a rental.
right, right.
So you know what? He used his one bullet on Greg Monroe. He got the guy. He's turning out. Greg Monroe's turning out to be a nice pickup.
Yeah.
So I would love to have gotten one more shooter late, but they missed out on those buyouts and they couldn't bring those guys in.
Right. But just watching Nadir play is
He's
is
horrible.
Horrible.
He's the worst player in the NBA.
Yeah, he is the worst player.
Yeah. He's a spaz.
He is the Brock Holt.
Well, Brad Stevens, and we love Brad Stevens, but I had to criticize him a little bit 2 games ago when
didn't
Nadir
take the
got
timeout.
fouled on a 3-point play. The guy who fouled him argued, got a T. So instead of letting Horford or somebody else shoot
Oh,
the
yeah, that was
technical,
crazy.
he got lazy and like, Nadir, you shoot it.
Yeah.
He missed 4 free throws in a row, for which Mike Gorman, who's seen every NBA game in the last 40 years, said, I've never seen that before.
I've never seen that.
You know, so that's where,
I've never heard of it.
yeah, I know Brad likes to,
He's sticking
integrate
with his
the
guys.
young guys and try to do and give them confidence, but he's not the right guy for that.
Yeah.
Never should have been shooting the technical.
Yeah. All right, so boys, we go to the Red Sox, and it's 8 more days before season opens, and we'll
Such a
have
buzz. There's such a buzz about this
Oh
team.
my God.
It's all I can think about.
Who's on the team?
I don't know, but I'm trying to
Same
sell
as
my
last
seats
year.
on the StubHub, and it's just
Slow going.
crickets.
But what, don't they open with like the Yankees?
No, they open it. The season
the
opens
Rays.
against Tampa
Oh, yeah,
next
and Miami,
Thursday.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, here, don't they open?
Here, no, I think it's
It's
Tampa
the
again.
Rays,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then the next series after that is the Yankees going during the week. But it's the most ridiculous thing. We criticized, remember when the Celtics a few months ago played the 76ers in London, which nobody
London's
really,
trying to.
nobody really
Makes
cared
no
about.
sense.
Now the Red Sox are going to play the Yankees in London next year. For what reason?
Well, you never know.
It's gotta be. We all know what the reason
Well, yeah,
is.
right. But the reason is money, but boy, you never know. Like London could be a hotbed for shortstops, like the place in the Dominican Republic is. All of a sudden, all the new shortstops are going to
Yeah,
be
right, exactly.
coming from the east side of London.
Six
Like, what
side.
the hell are they doing
What are
over
they
there?
doing? I
And
mean,
I'm sure one of the 800 channels on the London Comcast would pick it up and show MLB games. They just want another outlet to show MLB.
but they're not doing anything to increase the American audience because nobody cares about watching the Red Sox and Yankees in
It's been dwindling for years, so.
Plus,
London.
then they're going to reverse the way you run around the base paths too.
Right,
Yeah, you have to
exactly.
run
If
the
they're
third.
watching the NFL, say
That's a good
if
idea.
they're doing it, there must be a reason. Let's get over there.
Yeah, it's
Doesn't make any.
it doesn't make
It's
any
just
sense,
stupid.
right? But
And
does-
then, by the way, they're going to put a premium series over there. You're not putting the Red Sox and the Rays over there. You're putting a Red Sox Yankees game.
and then we get totally screwed because I assume that each team will
Yeah, we'll
have a
take
home
one.
game.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the money games. If there's
You're
any
not going
more,
to go to London?
and it's not even. They probably have like the 200 feet to center
And
field.
I'm sure
kind of
they'll
thing.
allow us. I'm sure they'll allow us to sell our tickets.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Oh, right. I didn't
Yeah,
even
on
think about
StubHub.
that.
Yeah, I
right.
don't think
Yeah,
so.
it's a soccer pitch, probably. So, I mean, it's probably.
It's like playing when they played in RFK.
220 feet to left and right and go to the length of it.
No, that's a great point, Joe,
600
because when
feet.
they played in the Coliseum, if you remember that game, they played an exhibition game in LA Coliseum a few years ago, and I think left field was like 200 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not going to be good.
Yeah. Major League Baseball just has to.
Speed the games up.
Yeah,
Let's
that's-
start there.
Right, and emphasize the stars. Let's
Yeah.
get to know these
Aren't
guys
they-
a little
this year
bit.
they're starting extra innings on second base in the minors, right?
Oh,
Are they doing that in the minors?
Yeah,
That's a
it's
disaster.
not all the minors, though.
Do you hear a couple of the pitchers? A couple
No.
of pitchers was like, you start an extra inning. A relief pitcher said, you start an extra inning game with a guy on second base. That better not count against my ERA.
Oh.
Just think about relief
Right,
pitchers.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's because they only get 1/3 of an inning, and all of a sudden, yeah, they get.
They got a guy in
Lost all the
second.
money.
They didn't
Yeah,
put
right.
him there.
No,
You're
right.
going to count that as an earned run?
And now they have a 27 earned run average.
Right.
And they didn't even do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of times
It wasn't.
The strategy may be to walk a guy.
Because it's not their runner.
Yeah, but well, hopefully, that's their
knows?
problem. All right, so guys, I have a theory here, and I want you to
I
think
love
about
your
this
theories.
one. Okay,
Yes.
is Hanley Ramirez, who the professor loved, but that's
No, you
that's
didn't
kind of
love
a
2 years ago.
Yeah, there's a stress
Called
in that
my shot,
relationship right
yeah.
now. Is Hanley Ramirez the longest running Boston athlete, meaning an athlete who has stayed in Boston the longest to stay on a
Overstayed?
team and not give a crap? Right? You know what I mean? Usually, guys who don't give a crap in Boston,
there's a long history of
they
that.
sure are, but they don't last long.
Yeah.
Right? The Carl Everetts of the world, they may not. Their act may stand out, but it goes away very quickly.
I don't know. There may have been some Patriots in the past. The Terry Glenns and the Irving
think-
Fryers of the world could have given Hanley a run for his
How
I
money.
think
about,
Henry's
um,
so good that he
Sidney
just kind of
Wicks?
shows enough interest.
Oh, you gotta be
The
kidding.
Celtics had a couple over the years.
Oh,
too.
right, Curtis Rose, Sidney Wicks,
yeah.
but they didn't stay long. Vin
Well,
Baker,
44 years.
you think so?
Yeah.
All right, so Hanley's, but all right, he's on
Your
the
point
edge.
is well taken.
Yeah,
Would you make him the Mount Rushmore? Would he be on the Mount Rushmore of
Deadbeats.
deadbeats who lasted as long as he did, and at the price tag, you know,
He's the head of the class.
yeah,
But he does. He manages to keep interest to stay on the
He
field.
does just enough.
He does just enough.
All right, so do you
no
think
more.
the casual fan, the pink hats, that he appeals to them?
No.
You don't think? Who does he appeal to,
No one.
fan-wise?
I don't know
think
anyone
anyone
who's a fan.
fan-wise.
Of Hanley.
Yeah.
Right. So
Well,
everyone at
He
this
hits
point.
home runs.
And there was somebody who was on our show recently who is very close to the Red Sox organization, and he may go to every game for some reason, and talk about it. He said that John Farrell's biggest complaint to him all season was Hanley Ramirez.
Oh yeah, he's a cancer.
Yeah.
You can tell he is.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
He said he was the biggest aggravation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, is he in the lineup? Is he hurt? Is he not hurt? Does he want to play first? Does he not want to DH? It just he's a headache.
Yeah, and then he's Alex Cora's headache.
Isn't he a little expendable now, though?
I hope so, right?
And he's brought him to hit against lefties, and what he
I
hit
think
last
he's
year, like
this.
150
I think
against
he's your
lefties.
starting first baseman. I probably for if he doesn't get hurt and Moreland doesn't blow up, he's going to get 450 at bats.
Until my love comes, and I love him, and Sam
Until
Travis.
my love comes.
Finally,
Yeah.
Sam Travis, who I've had, who I've been talking about for a couple years, and was I think maybe the
He'll
worst.
be a cheap alternative to
One of the
them.
worst hitters of all time
Oh
last
my
year.
God.
For this huge lumbering Paul Bunyan
With no
type.
power.
No power at
How are
all.
you that big and not have any power?
You just run into it, close your eyes, and you'd hit a
Oh,
couple
my
homers.
Lord.
I don't think he hit a home run last year, but let me tell you, because spring training means
He's
something.
tearing it up in the
He's
Grapefruit League.
tearing it up.
And we know what that means.
Nothing.
Got Jackie Bradley a job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. But does Sam Travis make the team, or is it
No.
just a
Where's he gonna go?
jam?
No,
in
he's not
first
making
base?
the team.
He might be.
He's
J.D.
going to need.
Martinez
Here's
could
the
play first
here's
base.
the thing.
Yeah, right.
Here's the thing. He's got to go down to AAA and show that this home run thing that he's been doing in spring training
Right.
is legit. If he hits 15 home runs by the middle of June in AAA, then
he'll
we
be
have
happy.
something. Yeah, we'll have something to work with.
Yeah, because another exciting, possibly
But
right-handed
a big,
hitter.
slow doubles hitter who's a AAA player
I
doesn't
know.
have a lot of appeal for me. I don't know why you love him so much.
And he'll
Because
get
you can
thrown
do
out at
better. You
second base
deserve
in
better
Fenway.
for that.
I know. Well, we're gonna have a Red Sox preview show, and we always have our surprise
Yeah.
of the year. And I don't know, it may be Sam Travis.
And the professor
I know you.
always comes up with
I
the
didn't even
gem.
know he was still on the team.
All right, we're gonna go to Pete's Bruins, and
You're
we
kidding.
love great
Oh, my
local
God.
stories. You know that's how
Oh.
we are. And there's no better story right now than Ryan Donato.
No, you fouled it up. Harvard's own.
Harvard's own Ryan
Ryan
Donato,
Donato.
and his father, Harvard's own Ted Donato,
Donato,
the
right.
coach who played for the Bruins. Also, first game, couple nights ago,
3 points?
a goal and 2 assists, and then the next morning at 9 a.m. he's in class
That's great.
at Harvard.
Pete, what makes him such a good talent?
I think what happened with him was, typically something like that, they'd go right to Providence and get the seasoning. But I think he showed up so much, and he's supposed to be good. And he went to the Olympics. They said, "Oh, he's good enough now.
Yeah.
He's good enough."
That and there's 6 or 7 guys injured right now.
That helps. Which brings me to the point where when these guys come back, these forwards come back, who's going to go?
But finally, Pete, we have guys who can score, right? Right? I
The
mean,
Score
Bergeron's
four
skating
goals
again.
when they don't even have their guys.
we can win games and give up 4 goals.
The thing
In the
that looked to
playoffs,
me
right?
the other night was that Tuca. Oh no, is it happening?
He looked sick the other
Is it happening? Because he might have peaked a little too early.
Yeah, that's my question. Does Tuca, because he's not a big guy, he doesn't weigh a lot, does Tuca just wear down and by the time the playoffs go, he's
I
got
thought they
nothing
gave
left?
him plenty of rest this year. Didn't you, Pete?
Yeah, I think the coach was terrific.
Yeah, well, we'll see if he's got another trick up his sleeve, Cassidy, and says, Tuca, grab a seat for 2 or 3 games. We got to get a goaltender hot before the playoffs,
Remember-
and that might
That worked
That got
early.
his attention.
that got his attention the last time.
All right, Russ, would he have the guts to put
I think
Khadobin
so.
in for during the
Look,
playoff
this
game?
is all gravy for the Bruins. This was not supposed to be the year we were supposed to go win the Stanley
will
Cup. So
maybe make the
Cassidy can
playoffs.
do whatever he wants right now, right?
Everybody's on a honeymoon
Roll the
now.
dice.
No,
Absolutely.
but I think I understand where your point is,
Well,
but there's
expectations
always
have been
expectations.
raised now.
Oh,
No, I
no,
mean, there's always
the
expectations. in
expectations
the
are high. My
playoffs.
point is that this is not a guy who's coaching out of fear.
No,
This
no.
is a
Oh,
guy
yeah.
all year
Good
long who's
point.
been coaching from strength.
He
and,
could be
and,
coach of the year in the
yeah,
NHL.
and so
should
your
be.
ability, if you think that Tuca's not paying attention, you go sit Tuca down.
He's proven he's not afraid to make that move.
Absolutely.
And when you have the God of all gods, our God, Bobby Orr, on his 70th
Oh, my
birthday,
God.
talking about the Bruins, and the first thing he talks about is how much he loves Bruce Cassidy, and he's a man's coach, a real man's coach.
It's a nice little endorsement.
Yeah.
He also sat down Pasternak, too. He's not afraid to sit down and
He
start.
gets his message across.
And he's finally yelling at the refs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know the same thing
They've
with
had
Brad
some
Stevens.
bad calls the last couple of games, too.
But Brad Stevens early on wasn't getting any technicals and stuff, but now Cassidy is just
They
like
become more
Julian.
comfortable. Yeah, they become more comfortable.
And now, he's ready to go over.
Boy, I tell you, the Sweeney's worked out pretty well so far. Those draft picks, there's a
Yeah.
conga line of draft picks that
Right,
they've
but
made.
these guys that you're seeing, I think, were Shirelli's.
these are
I
all
think this is the
Sweeney's.
beginning of the Sweeney era.
Well, Pasternak,
Pasternak was
Donato,
West,
they're
was
all
Donato,
Keith Gretzky and Shirelli, but
was Gretzky's Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. It was Gretzky's class.
But that's not to take anything away from Sweeney, because
yeah.
he's the guy that said this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
It wasn't very popular.
And Cam Neely keeps his cushy job because of Don Sweeney. That's for sure.
Well,
Because he
Don
was
Sweeney was down in Providence too, so he knows all these kids really well, and Cassidy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right, but if Don Sweeney went, Cam was going with him this time.
Yeah.
Oh, I think so. That's
Yeah,
right.
Cam wasn't going to make the next administration. Yeah.
Yeah, he's even though he's pals with Thanks Dad, it wasn't going to be.
That's right. All right, boys, well, that's our show tonight. Want to thank the fellas. Want to thank everyone behind the scenes. Of course, the lovely and talented Adrian, handsome Todd, and intern William. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in again next Wednesday night at 6:30 for the Red Sox preview show.
Yep.
At 6:30. My name is Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night. I'm Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night. The elephants are in town.
Here comes the circus.